everyone, this is Allison with Green Goddess Plants and Seeds, and welcome to today's garden chat. And as you can see, I'm not in the house or in the kitchen. I'm actually outside in my teeny tiny little greenhouse. The sun's shining, but it's still below freezing outside, but in the greenhouse with just the sun shining on it, it's about 20 degrees. So I thought I would do the next installment in my tomato talks out in the greenhouse. I'm hoping to start moving some of my plants out here, maybe in the next week or two, as the temperatures start to warm up and the snow starts to melt. I know any of the seedlings will do much better outside, out here, where they get the full blast natural sunlight. It's so much better for them, and they end up less stretched and leggy and that kind of thing. Probably tomorrow I might be starting my tomato seeds, or at least some of them. And I've also got my pepper seedlings that we started way back in February. The first batch of those are ready for transplanting, so I'll probably be busy doing that. So I might even do a video on that to show you how I do them, because we planted, several seeds into one little cell. So yeah, I'll show you how I pull them apart and that kind of thing. So future videos. But for today, we're going to talk tomatoes, more tomatoes. So I'm profiling some of the varieties that will be growing this year for the plant sale in May. So we've already done the cherry tomatoes and we've done the yellow tomatoes. So today we're doing the red, nice big red slicers. So first up I have on my list here is the Beaver Lodge slicer. So Beaver Lodge, it's another Canadian prairie tomato, developed in Alberta. It's been around for a long time. We grew this last year out on the farm, and the description says that they're supposed to be, nice, decent size, 2-inch round oblate tomatoes. We got tomatoes off of these last year that were huge. They were almost bigger than my hand. Most of them were small. Most of the fruit was small, but we end up with some really nice big slicers. So we're growing these ones again. It is an early variety. Probably, I think the maturity date on these is like 65 days. So it's another nice, good, early maturing variety. Determinate plants. So this is probably one that I'm going to include in my own breeding program that I'm going to start this summer. So there we go. Next up is one as a European variety called DaCosta's Portuguese. This is one that I ordered from the Croatian seed store. And just the photograph and the description of it show a nice, big, meaty looking red tomato. And I'm just looking forward to trying that in the garden. It's something different that I've never heard of, that I've never tried. So it's always good to experiment with new things. Next up is the honey tomato. This is an older heirloom, but it's supposed to be super sweet, kind of like a slicing tomato, but really super sweet flavor. So if you think of the sweet aperitif cherry tomato that I mentioned that we're growing out in the cherry tomato section, this is almost. It sounds like it would be a larger version of a really super sweet tomato. So this is actually something new that we're growing this year as well. And I thought, well, the name honey, considering my partner Glenn is, he keeps honeybees, I thought this was appropriate variety to grow for tomatoes. The next for the red tomatoes is the good old Manitoba tomatoes. These are the good old tried and trusted prairie tomato, or the Manitobas. Everyone grows these. We all know that they're hardy, that they produce well, nice red, all-purpose slicing, canning, a nice prairie tomato. So this is another one. Like, I'm basically going to be using a lot of the prairie bred tomatoes in my own breeding program, because I want to take some of these tried and trusted varieties that have early maturing dates that are good for cold season areas or short season areas like what we're in, and bring in some of the more interesting genetics. So Manitobas, I'll have lots of Manitobas for sale because I know they are so very popular. Next one up for the red tomatoes is called Russian Saskatchewan. Now I grew this last year for the first time, and I had the seed for a while before I actually started it. And honestly, I don't know why I waited so long to start it, because it was a beautiful plant. This is why we save seeds. This is why families and save seeds and hand them down from generation to generation, because this is a keeper. You know, kudos to the woman who held on to these for her family. Like, oh my God, just the plant itself to me was a beautiful plant. It's a determinate plant. It only got to maybe 4 feet at the most, but it had really nice dark green ruffled leaves. Just the whole overall form of the plant was gorgeous. The fruit was a nice. They didn't get huge, but they weren't, you know, really small either. Kind of medium-sized tomato, but very flavorful on the sweet side, and just wonderful. Just a wonderful overall plant to grow. So this is probably going to become a tomato that I always grow. At the moment, there's only 2 that will always end up in my garden, and that is the Sweet Aperitif and the Golden Queen. But I think the Russian Saskatchewan is going to be on that list as well for must grows. So the next we have, and the last one in the red tomato list is called Trophy. This is an heirloom tomato. It dates back to, I believe, the 1870s, and it is a really good all-purpose tomato. It's good for slicing and fresh eating and canning and salads and all that. It has a slightly sweetish flavor, but it's also got enough acidity to be good for canning. It is a genuine heirloom because it does date back. It does have a history to it. So I'm looking forward to growing this one out. This is another new one for us. I am trying to grow out some of more. I do like to grow out more of the actual heirlooms, the really old heirlooms. I do have an interest in that. I think it's amazing that this tomato and other tomatoes like the Golden Queen have survived over 100 years. That these varieties have been kept going for over 100 years. I think, to me, that is just an amazing thing. So those are all the red tomatoes that we're growing this year. So I'm also going to include in today's video, pardon me, the black, what I call the black, brown, blue varieties of tomatoes, because these are cool. These are interesting. I like these because they're so interesting in the garden. So I've got a number of varieties. Some of these I've grown in the past, but I think there's only a couple here that are new. So first up is the black Brandywine. It's a nice big beefy meaty tomato. You know, most of us are familiar with the Brandywine tomato. So this just has that nice darker tone to the skin, and a really nice rich flavor. A lot of the dark tomatoes, the black tomatoes, the blue tomatoes, do tend to have a much richer, more dynamic flavor, and so they actually are really good for making sauces. So black Brandywine. Next up, we have a couple here from Wellbore. Actually, I have a few here from Wellbore Farms, believe it or not. But we have Blue Beauty, which is a new one for me that I haven't grown before. We'll have to see what it does. I also have Blood Moon, and the picture of this shows more of a brown cast to the tomatoes, but it'll be interesting to see how well it does and what it actually looks like in my garden. I do like to take lots of photographs of my garden. If you follow the Green Goddess page on Facebook, I'm always posting photos of my garden. I find it very creative, a very creative way of documenting my garden and that. So that's Blood Moon and Blue Beauty. And then we have Black Beauty, which is also, I believe, a Wellbore Farm variety, which I have grown before. I have grown this in the past, and this is probably one of the darkest tomatoes. Like, with a lot of these tomatoes that have the anthocyanins in them, when the fruit that is the side that is exposed to the sun is the side that will turn the darkest. And so these have been known to be almost entirely black because of there's just so much of that pigment in them that when they're exposed to that sunlight that they just completely turn black. And they do have another dynamic flavor. At least I find them to be very dynamic and very rich tasting tomatoes. Some people don't like them. Some people say that the anthocyanins give them a metallic taste, but You know what? We all have different tastes and flavors, so if you don't like the black beauties, I'm sure there's other tomatoes out there that would suit you just fine. Like there's literally thousands upon thousands of tomato varieties out there. It's just unbelievable. So that's Black Beauty, so look for that. Next up we have Cherokee Purple, which is an heirloom. Lots of people love the Cherokee Purples. It's a favorite for a lot of people, just for any number of reasons, just the color, the flavors, the plant habit. Lots of people love this, so it's a very popular heirloom, which I am going to be growing. I'll have quite a few of these, so if that interests you, keep that in mind. And the last one is Carbon. This is probably one of my favorite of the dark tomatoes, of the black tomatoes. It doesn't get totally black or really dark. I guess depending on the amount of sunlight. But my experience is that it doesn't get, really super dark. But the flavor of this just cannot be beat. Like honestly, I would rather, if I had to pick, I would pick the Carbon over the Cherokee Purple. In terms of flavor wise, this is the one that I prefer the most, is the Carbon. So those are the tomato varieties that we are growing this year, and we will have them for sale. Like I said, it's getting to be that time of year where the snow is very quickly melting, and we'll be doing lots of planting, lots of seeding. In addition to getting my tomatoes started probably this week or next, I've got petunia seed that I want to grow for my own garden, and we're going to be just getting everything ready. It's almost like Christmas, and certainly it's like second Christmas if you want to think of it that way. So I'm so excited. I'll probably be doing a couple more videos in this week, and I'm actually going to be going out to the farm for the weekend, so you might be able to look for a video from out at the farm. I know the bees, with the weather warming up, the bees are probably flying, so maybe we'll take you around and show you the beehives this weekend. So other than that, I hope you're having a great week, and I hope you have a chance to enjoy the sunshine that we're having. So until next time, take care.